G'day. This is a Kimberley Caravan Hybrid. This is our quick awning in a bag set up on a sail track on our hybrid off-road van. Now, why do we like the Kimberley quick awning? It is so versatile. We can do freestanding with our poles. We can set it up really easy for an overnight stay. We can also add walls and what we call a Bedouin extension. So these are some of my favorite parts here, and we're doing a new video to show you how to set this up. Now, what I want to do first is I could have had the whole van up for the day. I put it down just so I could reach the bag. I want to open up just the one flap and get my poles out. Only lift the first panel, and we're going to get the poles out, setting up the Kimberley quick awning. This little catch, pro tip, that gets left open quite a bit. So please remember to lock it in, make sure it's secure before pushing the bed out. Access the pole under the bed. We're going to get out our quick awning poles. Now today we'll probably just set up at 2, but there is 3 poles there for you. They're a KA pole, getting those out, and then we have our upright poles as well. Let's get started and set up the quick awning. And I've got a few versions of my poles, one of them being my upright. So that is just a simple upright pole here. We've got 3 of those. The other one being my quick awning. A KA or quick awning pole is just like this. Could be a T like an umbrella, could be a Y for some of us down under, but this is our awning pole. Now when I set this up, it's freestanding. It adds strength and support to all the corners. I really want to have this up if I'm adding walls or any of the extension pieces. But when we go up the beach, quite often, we'll just use the 2 uprights, 2 pegs, 2 ropes, and we're set up. We don't have to do any of this if we just want some shade, and we've got some great weather traveling around Australia. Let's set up with the quick awning poles today first. I'm going to set them up here. They do have a little R-clip and a little split pin in there in our little tab, and we've got our nice new handles here on this with a C-clip that suits our new 30th anniversary awning. Open up the awning. Why do we have these tabs here and these straps and zippers and everything included? Well, there's also Velcro on the inside. If the zipper, after owning this for 10 years, starts to give you some trouble, you can still get the awning away and secure it for travel. So it's all redundancies here. We've undone the 2 straps. We're gonna then open up this zipper. Now the great thing here is that it is Velcro on the inside as well. So I'm gonna now undo this Velcro. So again, it secures it out of the way. Now here's my pro tip. What we do here is this is now gonna hang down, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna Velcro. Inside here is some hook and loop. I will take that Velcro and Velcro it back up there. There's definitely gonna be some of you out there who have a quick awning and they didn't realize that they could take this, Velcro it up out of the way. I have a strap here that constantly wants to get caught in my door. I'm now going to take that strap, put it inside my Velcro, and I've now Velcroed it up and out of the way. So there is a really good little tip there for you. Even if you already own one, you might not have realized why that was covering the light previous. We've now undone the Velcro there. We're going to undo the Velcro here on this side. We're going to let this roll out. It's got a little bit of a pocket on the end, so once I get out of that pocket, out of my Velcro that just wants to catch itself again, and then out of this pocket here, we're now all the way out and rolling that out. Now this canvas is really reflective, really great. It's got a leading edge. So you can see that C-clip or upright is going to clip into there. We've got tie downs on the side. So I love a carabiner or some of those that I'm going to clip onto here and run them down to the corner. So that's where my rope is going to attach. The C-clip here on the end of my pole. Let's have a quick demo on how I set this up. Now quite often, this is even, it's my smallest size that I can put in here. You can see it's my narrowest size here, and that's because my handle is that way. Not having the handle that way, we're having that out, that is not going to fit in my pole carrier. So what we do have to realize is that when I set this up, my C-clip is aiming for the outside, this is aiming for the pocket in there, and this pole will have to be adjusted about center, make it into a T, and at that center point is where this is going to set up, my C in the right way. So I'm just going to set this like a T here on the ground. I'm going to find my pocket up here, inside my canvas, so it's well stitched, well supported in there. But again, it's a pocket that's been squished flat. So I'm going to use my fingers, open that up and get it started here. Now what happens is that people will constantly pull this out of here. So I've pushed it in firm, but I've now got a leg to help me on the ground, holding my small 19 mil pole and moving that out. Holding my pole, moving that out. Now, when I want to do this one, there are a few little tips to make this easier, and one of them might be just here to lock it in at that height and get my canvas off the ground. Now, I'm now locked in, I'm constantly pushing back. I'm pushing against the van because I don't want that to pull out, and instead of then running up here and trying to clip that in, I've just gone and pushed the pole into it. I'm still pushing back. I then come back here, grab my small pole, and I don't want that to slide off the end, so let's just keep that on a little bit there. So what I'm going to do is I'm still using my 19 mil, pushing that back, and pushing this guy out. You can see it naturally actually wanted to stay like that on there. Pushing this out until I've got some tension, and what I'm going to do is lock that in. So what I do is if I lock that in, I'm going to then come around to the other side here, and I can either do this with my offsider, or I can come along and do this by myself. So let's just come back here, pull that in, because you saw it wanted to run. What I've done there is I've just pushed that up to the end, keep that secure. As long as I've got some of my pole on this side secured here, what I'm going to do then is take the same pole, look at the same one, and maybe this is easier for me right now because it is already up in the air and I don't want to set it back on the ground. I'm going to take my pole here, I'm going to clip it onto the end, and I'm now going to do the reverse of what I was doing. I'm pushing pressure just to keep that balance off the ground. I'm now going to take my pole here and again, set it up like a T, slide it here to the middle. So those little tricks I'm doing because I'm doing it by myself. If I had an offsider holding this up for me, I wouldn't have to worry so much about the balance of the whole awning. I've now set that up, I'm holding tension away from the van, which is now giving me the freedom to open this guy up and run it into there. I've rested my pole on the ground. I still have my other hand holding tension, and I've rested my pole on the ground. I've now got the freedom, because that awning is staying there, that I can actually feel the loop, put my finger in the loop, I can feel the pocket, put my finger in the pocket, and I can now let those travel in there. So they've now traveled into that pocket, and now I can apply pressure. One hand is on my 22 mil, one hand is on my 19 mil, and I'm just going to push those across. And look at that. I'm actually freestanding right now, just like that. Let's come back and do this side here. As a guide, I've got a Velcro tab here. We'll show you down the other end. As long as my adjustment is on the southern side or the bottom side of the Velcro tab, that will give me adjustment for setting up my walls or setting up my extension. So I might put my little arm here while I'm setting this up. I'm going to set this up to here, closer to my tab, and I'm about 100 millimeters. A hand's width away from that tab, I found is a good one. Once you get yours right, we're going to mark that with a texture, and it'll all be set up for next time. We'll show you down the other end, but I'm going to now clip this to the vehicle. What I'm doing here is using the rear clip on the vehicle. I'm putting my little R clip in, and that's locking that off there. I'm pretty happy with that height, but what I will do is I'll mark those heights so I know that that suits my vehicle. Now when we're set up here, you can see I've left the balance on there. Now just making sure that it's still on the end. What we could do here is then hold this up. We're using the same sort of setup. Open my little black handle, get my tab in the right place. You can see my tab is using the over-center catch at the back. using my specialty laser cut in the middle and using the over-center tab here at the front. So I will then drop that down. I've now dropped that to open it up. I turn it to suit that sideways, and we're now going to put that in. Now what I will do is I already know that my height is about there. I already know that that's about where I want to be set up for it when I set up the van. Now I might actually just make sure that you can see everything that's going on and go a little bit higher there. I've got my angle right. I'm dropping that in, and I'm using my R-clip here. Make sure we put that R-clip right away so it doesn't bounce and drop off the van there. So we can see now that that actually is a pretty good height, not bad. Please remember, we have now connected it here. And please just remember that this does need some fall. So like we did in other videos, when I am set up here, having this guy up higher for clearance around my door, having this one a bit lower, and that will allow fall and allow water to travel away. This is my last setup here on the quick awning video. Is what we want to mention is that we have here now a door that comes out and locks against this. Now on ours, we have some attachments or some retrofit ideas for locking this door in here. But one of my favorites on this van is that I'm just going to put some soft Velcro padding around this section, and I'm going to designate this pole as my front pole. I've marked with texture here and here, and I've got this around here. Now we can see that this guy was so much longer because I avoided doing step 2, and all I did was go and put this up. So I kind of like it where it's sitting right now. It's a bit interesting, but let's just adjust this awning. We gotta have fun with this. We gotta laugh. We love doing these videos, and every time I do it, I get carried away. This is how we have fun setting up our awning, and sometimes we just make it work, tie it to a tree, get it in here, have some fun. What I did here, step 2, is just gonna adjust this correctly. Now that would work for me. I'd be pretty happy. I'd put my upright pole, but in theory, I'm gonna be a lot stronger if my poles are a bit shorter. So what we're gonna do, like we did on the other side, we're gonna drop this one back. We're gonna bring it back towards my tab. I'm 100 mil or so, a hand's grab away from my tab here. My Velcro tab goes on while it's in the down position. Then I've got my little mark there, which I liked before, and I'll just hide that up. The reason I'm doing that now is I will have to move it. I will have to make it smaller, fit in my pole carrier, but that's just probably a little bit stronger, being within 100 mil of Velcro and being a little bit closer to the van. We still are going to look at putting some soft padding here, and we're still going to look at giving you an extra bungee that suits this, that locks this in, so I can have my door open. That is our quick awning setup. It's a Kimberley Camper canvas quick awning. Great strength, great material, lasts forever, and then we do have the option to put our zippered walls on. So there is a wall that'll come from here around to the corner. There is an L wall on the other side. There's also a Bedouin extension. So if you put the extension piece on, it gives you a second zipper to do walls as well. Please remember, every time I set up walls or the extension, I want to grab my upright poles and I want to support that extra weight. We're just going to go and put that on there. And even setting up and thinking there's a bit of weather coming, rope it down here. Using this extra pole, I've now got a really strong awning. When everyone else is packing up their awnings, you can leave yours up because it is really solid with the Kimberley design here. I can set this up without using my quick awning poles. So I'm just keen, just want a bit of shade. All I'm gonna do is roll out the awning, stand up that upright, and run up some ropes. We've got a super fast awning, and it is really good. You can imagine this forms up really well with those KA poles. We do have the middle pole here, so we can lock that in. We do have a middle upright as well. Please remember 2 ropes, and you'll be great to go. When we do set this up, as we go up, you might have to adjust these poles, and as you go up, please remember that you might have to adjust the uprights as well. So that's just going up there and setting up for the door. Always remember to put a bit of fall on your awning. Always, you can set it up in different ways, but we really enjoy the Bedouin extension. It is an L-zip. Putting the Bedouin extension on here, great for the 3-day weekends. You've got some privacy going on, you've got some shade, and when you go away 4-wheel driving for the whole day, you know your awning's okay. The Bedouin extension makes it such a strong awning. Thank you again from the team here at SEQ Campers.